All right, today we are jumping into one of the biggest, most critical issues of our time, climate change. We're going to break down exactly how our actions are reshaping the planet, all based on the key findings from our source material.
You ever get that feeling like the summers just feel way hotter than they used to, or the storms seem a lot more intense? Well, you're not just imagining things. The weather we all grew up with is definitely changing. And the big question is, why?
And the source material we're digging into for this explainer lays out a really clear case for what's going on. So, let's just get right into it.
Okay, so to really get a grip on the problem, we have to start with the basics. What are we even talking about when we say climate change? Because it's a lot more than just tomorrow's weather forecast.
Here's a great way to think about it. Weather is kind of like your mood on any given day. It can change in an instant. But climate, that's like your personality, the long-term predictable you. And what we're talking about here isn't a bad mood day. It's a fundamental shift in the Earth's entire personality.
Now look, it's true. The Earth's climate has always changed. It goes through natural cycles over millions of years. But here's the thing, and this is absolutely crucial. It's all about the speed. What used to take thousands and thousands of years is now happening in just a few decades. That slow, natural rhythm has been replaced by this super-fast acceleration. And that acceleration, it's driven by us.
So if we're the ones hitting the accelerator, what exactly are our feet on the gas? Let's take a look at the specific things we're doing that are leaving this really clear fingerprint on our climate.
Our source points to a few major players. Burning fossil fuels like coal and gas for our cars and factories, cutting down forests. These actions all have something major in common. They release huge amounts of greenhouse gases into the air, and that is fundamentally changing our world.
This whole process is called the greenhouse effect, and this breakdown is perfect. Imagine our atmosphere is like a cozy blanket around the Earth. When we release gases like carbon dioxide or CO2, we're basically making that blanket thicker and thicker. It still lets the sun's heat shine in, but it traps more of that heat and stops it from escaping back into space. And the result? Well, the planet underneath just keeps getting warmer.
So, the planet's getting hotter. Big deal, right? Maybe you're thinking milder winters sound kind of nice. But it's not that simple. That extra heat is like the very first domino to fall in this massive global chain reaction that affects pretty much everything.
And yep, that first domino is the rise in global temperatures. We're seeing it everywhere. More frequent, more intense heat waves that are smashing records year after year. And that puts incredible stress on everything, from our power grids to our own health. And this extreme heat has a serious human cost. We're talking about more heat stroke, breathing problems, dehydration, you name it. But what's really crucial to understand is that this threat isn't felt equally. It's the elderly, young children, and folks who work outside like farmers who are at the highest risk. They're often bearing the worst of a problem they had the least to do with creating.
This warming also throws the planet's entire water cycle completely out of whack. It creates this world of extremes. So while one part of the world is stuck in a devastating drought, struggling with water shortages, another part is getting hammered with record-breaking rain and catastrophic floods.
This leads to a really dangerous paradox, especially when you look at the world's glaciers. As the planet warms up, they start to melt way faster. At first, you get a rush of extra water, causing floods downstream. But once that ancient ice is gone for good, the rivers that literally billions of people rely on for drinking water start to dry up. And that creates a massive crisis.
So when you start connecting all these dots, you see that we're facing a threat to the very things that keep us going. The food we eat, the water we drink, the very safety of our homes. All of these basic fundamental needs are being put at risk.
And think about it, all that melting ice from the glaciers and ice sheets, it has to go somewhere. And it does. It flows right into our oceans, causing this slow, steady, relentless rise in sea levels all around the world.
And this quote from our source material, wow, it just drives the point home. This isn't just about a bit of flooding on the coast. For low-lying island nations, this is an existential threat. We are literally talking about the possibility of entire countries just disappearing beneath the waves.
Okay, so that's a pretty daunting picture, I know. But it is not all doom and gloom. The source material also lays out a clear path forward. It focuses on solutions, things we can actually do to reduce our impact and build a better future.
The solutions really range from things we can do in our own lives to these massive systemic shifts. Saving energy and water at home definitely makes a difference. But the bigger goal here is a huge transition to clean energy sources like solar and wind, so we can finally move away from the fossil fuels that are causing the problem in the first place.
But let's be real, our individual choices alone can't solve a problem this big. It's just not possible. That's why action from governments is so incredibly critical. They're the ones who can create strong environmental laws and really push for the society-wide change we need.
So, that brings us to the end of our breakdown, and really to one last super important question.
Look, the science is clear. The impacts are happening right now, all around us. We are truly at a crossroads. One path leads to a pretty dangerous and unstable future if we just keep doing what we're doing. But the other path, while it's challenging for sure, leads to a sustainable world. The story we're writing for the next generation is being decided right now. The only question is, what will our chapter say?